Malachi still wants Fatima, y'all. I said these people in their doggone exes. But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review with Life with Chessie for Tyler Perry's Zatima Season 3, Episode 18. Okay, y'all, so first things first, let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. I said, look, we ain't even went back to the Ian dude yet. We ain't finished his storyline. They done brought another doggone ex over here. It's crazy to tell. I said, was that a tattoo of Fatima on his chest? I said, dude, that better be fake. I said, even if it ain't fake, that's still crazy. That's still crazy. I said, what the freak they doing to their doggone exes to make them keep showing up like this? First it was Zach ex, Karen, and what was her name? Heather and all that. Now it was Ian. It's this Malachi dude. When they said in the synopsis, they was like, basically, Malachi, something about shocks Fatima and Angela. So I'm assuming it has to do with, because they had already showed that Fatima's supposed to be asking him for help with Angela videos or whatever. Why this man, I'm assuming the shocking thing is the fact that he got her doggone face on his chest. And I was like, the previous episode, that's why I said in the review what I said. I was like, okay, I want to say something completely different because I don't seen this episode. That episode 17, he tried to make it seem like, oh, she just been drinking a lot, she hallucinates, she's crazy, and all that other stuff. I was about to say the first thing or the first red flag we should have known is the fact that she said he told her to wear her hair like Fatima. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give a pass on that one. This man over here, then she said she caught him going through their stuff or going through Fatima stuff or whatever. And I was like, so I'm like, okay, so that was crazy making. That was a perfect example of crazy making. I was like, I think the same thing. And so I was like, okay, with the hotel situation, did she see somebody that looked like Fatima coming out? Because now I'm on her side. I'm wondering, did you have a Fatima lookalike at the hotel and that's why she thought it was Fatima or what? Look, or they both crazy. Either way, either or. I was like, see, you should never. Then the craziest part about it, well, not the craziest part, because the tattoo, that sets it all off. But it's the fact that he cheated. Y'all be over here, y'all be the one messing up. Then you want to go doing crazy stuff. Like a tattoo gonna change something. I was like, yeah, get him up out of there immediately. What's her name, Angela? You gonna have to handle that on your own. She gonna have to tell Zach all this stuff. They said in one synopsis that Leslie does something to jeopardize her friendship with Fatima. I don't think they showed that yet, have they? I don't know what episode that was. Then they haven't showed so far. And I think I should have started with that. Next week, I think, is the season finale, y'all. Because isn't it 20 episodes and it's episode 18? Yeah. Oh, what we gonna do there? But yeah, they haven't shown a scene where Fatima walking up and somebody's in bed with somebody or whatever. I said, I know they didn't come to her house and get in the doggone bed again. They was already on the kitchen counter. But okay, let's talk about this. Look, 2 minutes and I ain't even talked about the doggone show, the actual review yet. Okay, so the first part of the episode. This is why I was thinking, that whole scene was about them finding out that something happened to Tony because they never went back to it. Because we left off on, there were shots fired. They ain't go back to it. Did they go back to it? Did I miss it or something? I don't think they went back to it. But yeah, so lastly, I think first Fatima got a text. And it was either Fatima got a text first. I want to say she got the text first. And it was basically from Leslie or whatever, trying to apologize and all that stuff. Then Zach ends up getting a text message from the funeral home director or whatever, saying he need more money. I said, this dude right here. And they was just doing this whole little scene where they was talking about checking each other's phone and stuff like that. She was checking his phone, he checking her phone, stuff like that. That's what they did. And I said, I'm gonna ask y'all, how y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about significant others reading each other messages or whatever? In a perspective of, okay, would you want to read your significant other messages or vice versa? Or if you was the friend of one of these people, would you care? Because for me, don't show nobody my doggone message. I don't know. We have to actually be cool or something like that. I don't like that. I feel like that's an invasion of privacy. Don't show nobody. If I send you a text message, do not show nobody nothing. If I want them to know, I tell them. Because for years I've seen on Facebook and Instagram stuff, people was debating, it's this post, I'm sure y'all don't seen it, where they was saying how, how you tell somebody something, you said, don't tell nobody. And they was like, that doesn't include my spouse, that doesn't include my significant other, I'm going to tell them everything. Yeah, don't play me. Do not play me. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. But Fatima ends up saying Jeremiah going to want to go to the funeral. But yeah, when they was showing that whole scene where they was in the bed and then, he came over there where she was at or whatever, And I think she was trying to rush into the bathroom, and she ends up going in there and locking the door or whatever. And then Zach started hitting the door. So I'm thinking during that whole scene, I'm like, they gonna get a text message saying something happened to Tony, something's wrong with Tony, or something like nothing. But yeah, she ends up letting them in. And I think that's when Angela ends up calling to ask if Malachi can help take the videos down. I think they was in the car during that scene or whatever. I think she was still calling her and texting her, the lazy lady. She was still texting her when they was in the doggone car. But yeah, she ends up telling Angela that she's on the way to the funeral home or whatever, so she'll call her later. They end up giving this man a check. Why he still talking about that's gonna be an additional cost and all this other stuff? I was like, really? I feel like they was doing that scene to show y'all how they crooked these folks be. For real. But yeah, he said something about he need more money. It's gonna be an additional fee, and they end up saying, they're gonna pay the rest tomorrow or whatever. Did he say BS? Did he say the BS word? I think he did, because that's the scene right here when Fatima and Zach started covering their mouth or whatever in shock. I was like, yeah, I think he was the one that said the BS. I don't know, but yeah, I said their reaction was funny. Bryce ends up, just kept walking by. I said, he too. I thought that scene was gonna go differently, but I'm glad that they finally decided to put it behind them. Bryce kept walking back and forth by Zach's office, trying to be noticed or whatever, and he finally went in. He ends up asking Zach if he gonna be mad at him forever. And that's when Zach was like, probably. But he had a good point. Bryce was saying, if they're going to do business together, he going to have to talk to him and forgive him and all this other stuff. And I was like, right. I said that before. I think Preston was saying the same thing in a sense or whatever. I was hoping to see him too, and Deja, because I wanted to see more of their storyline, see where they was headed with that, if they was headed anywhere at all. But it's like, no, because we at the end of the doggone season next week. Also, real fast, did y'all notice they ain't been talking about Karen? They ain't been talking about Karen. I think they talked about Michael a little bit, but we haven't seen him. So I was like, okay, what's going on there? But Zach ends up telling Bryce to stop being hard on himself. He was like, I'm already hard on you or whatever. Ain't no point in you being hard on yourself too. And I was like, wait a minute. I said, I don't think that's how that conversation's supposed to go. But he ends up telling him they pass it or whatever. He forgives him or whatever. Tells him, basically encouraging him to stick to numbers. He good at that and all that stuff. He's smart. And he ends up giving him a hug. I said, oh, they really passed it then. He done gave him a doggone hug too. Fatima ends up Angela ends up asking Fatima, about Malachi. She was saying she didn't get a chance to ask because of Leslie and everything they had going on up over there or whatever. So she was like trying to encourage her to call him or whatever. And she was like, no, I don't know about that and all. I said, you should have stuck to your first mind, because this man over here showing you tattoos and I almost said the word. He over here showing tattoos and stuff. Oh, psycho man. You and your woman need to get up out of here. But yeah, so she asked her if she could call Malachi. Did she call during that scene? I don't know. I think first she ends up asking Angela if she believes Bryce about saying, that he got hacked and all that stuff. Fatima seems to not believe it. She seems to think he did it on purpose. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I don't think Bryce would do it on purpose, but at the same time, we don't really know this man either, so we'll see. But yeah, she ends up asking her to call Malachi, and she does. Malachi told me, I was going to call you to apologize. During that conversation, I was like, okay, he still, the way he was talking on the phone, not just that, when they got to her house, to Angela's house, the way he was looking at her, he came in looking at her, and I was like, yeah, he still want her. Well, yeah, he was like, I was going to call you to apologize and all this stuff. So she asked if he could help because he an agent or whatever, and she got videos online that need to be taken down. He was like, yeah, I can help or whatever. He's talking about something, but I want to talk to you. I say, she started telling him that it's about Angela and all this stuff. Even when they got to the house, he over here started talking about her. I was like, yeah. I was like, get up out of there as soon as you can, or call Zach. I said, call Zach, let him know everything before this man do the same thing that what's her name, Leslie did. Sit up here and like, you just gonna take that or whatever and all this stuff. They over here playing in our face and all that. I said, just because your man wants your ex-best friend doesn't mean that she want him. But yeah, he ends up saying he could help. He wants to talk to Fatima, wants to meet up with Fatima and Angela. She was like, no, I could just give her number to you, or give Angela his number or something like that. And he started telling us, no, I need you there. You need to come too and all this. She should have immediately called Zach and let him know. Make sure ain't no misunderstandings. I ain't saying you got to always just do that, and it should be trust and all that other stuff. You shouldn't have to hold nobody hand or hover over them and all that. But at the same time, with their situation, look how many times they done been into it or had misunderstandings, or they friends or they exes done interfered. Of course, you got to tell something. But yeah, Let me see where we stop at. Zach visits Jeremiah again. That scene right there, I was like, what's happening? Like, I was confused what they were talking about at first. He visited Jeremiah and he was like, basically saying he ready to go to this rehab. I think the part that confused me was, um, Zach tell Fatima when he went out in the hall? He was said something about he told him about the funeral or something like that. Did he tell him? I missed that part, I guess. But yeah, he had this pamphlet he gave about the rehab. I said, look like he's serious, but at the same time, I don't know. But yeah, Zach was like, okay, I'm gonna call them and check and see. I knew he was gonna call Fatima. He ends up calling Fatima basically to check with her about, doing the whole rehab situation. I think he said it was gonna be $5,000 or something like that. So Fatima was basically asking him if he wants to do it. He was like, yeah, he just worried that Jeremiah gonna blow his money. So, I don't know. I think Malachi hadn't made it yet. They was at Angela's house or whatever, and she was talking about Malachi. She was like, what's with you and Malachi? Because she could tell something off, just like Zach could tell something off. So this man walks in, and he just looking at her. I said, the way he look at her like he in love with her or something. Then boom, bam, thank you, man. What the freak? What the freak? So he starts talking about some, I miss you. I've been wanting to talk to you all these years. I said, see? See? Don't sit up here and invite crazy into this house. Talk about some, I missed you. I've been wanting to talk to you for years. So he was crazy making. That's what exactly what he was doing. So she wasn't tripping. I mean, she was tripping, but she wasn't tripping at the same time. But yeah, she was like, this ain't read. She was like, read the room. I was like, right. I said that all the time. Read the room. You're not reading the room, and he didn't care neither. So Angela was like, do I need to step out? Fatima was like, no. He was like, yes. He was like, I miss you. I'm in love with you. And she was like, look, Malachi and all that stuff. I don't know if she didn't believe him or she just didn't care or both. But I was like, sir. So that's when he admitted to being in love with her. And he was like, look. And he started unbuttoning his shirt. And they was like, what are you doing? This man got Fatima whole face on his doggone chest. I said, what the freak is wrong with you? That's what's really going on around here. I said, Zach and Fatima, they be having these folks' head gone for real, for real. Well, that's it. Again, y'all, next week, I'm assuming it's supposed to be, the season finale. I was like, dog, hopefully we get a season 4 trailer now. It's a new year now. It's a new year, so that means they could drop it at any time. But that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next video. Until next time, dudes, have a great rest of the day and be safe.